Hello everyone, I Shalini Taylor, Assistant Professor in Biani Girls College, welcomes you all on my video lecture regarding molecular biology. So let's begin. First of all, I have explained what is DNA and how it became or come to know about the genetic content, right? Now let's move on to the next topic, that is DNA and RNA. DNA, as we all know, is the main genetic content in all the living organisms except some plant viruses and retroviruses which possess RNA as their genetic content or the genome. So, the first question that comes in mind is what is the basic difference between these two? So, first of all, DNA and RNA, that is the deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is the ribonucleic acid. Basic difference between these two nucleic acids is of the sugar molecule. The sugar molecule which is present in the DNA is of deoxyribose type, and the sugar which is present in the RNA molecule is of ribose type. Let me explain. It is a pentose sugar having first position carbon, second, third, fourth, and on which the fifth carbon exists. So, the first carbon, second, third, fourth, and this is the fifth carbon. So, this particular sugar is a pentose sugar and ribose. When if the 2' position of the carbon consists of hydroxyl group at 2' as well as the 3' position. That is, whenever we are talking about the ribose sugar, then there is the presence of 2 hydroxyl groups at carbon number 2 and carbon number 3, right? But when we talk about the sugar molecule, that is the deoxyribose sugar which is present in the DNA, then there is absence of 2 hydroxyl groups at the 2' carbon. That is, there is only the presence of one hydroxyl group which is found at the 3 position carbon. So, that is the basic difference between the two molecules DNA and RNA, that is, here the sugar is of deoxyribose type, whereas here the sugar is of ribose nature only. Second comes the structure. Structure of DNA, as we all know and we are very much familiar to the double helical structure of DNA which was given by Watson and Crick in 1953. But if you talk about the structure of RNA, then it is not at all double helical structure, right? Why? Because RNA possesses the single strand only. It is single stranded, whereas the structure of DNA is double stranded. This is the major difference between these two nucleic acids. But in some cases, we find RNA in the double helical structures when it completely surrounds itself or it forms loop on itself, right? Then only it forms different kind of base pairing between them, like if the structure becomes wrapped like this, hairpin loop or the stem loop. In this cases, the RNA acquires the secondary structures which are not single stranded in nature, okay? But these are the exceptional cases. Generally, if you talk about the structures of DNA and RNA, then the structure of DNA is double stranded, whereas the structure of RNA is single stranded. Next comes the nitrogenous bases. Now, what are nitrogenous bases? We will discuss it in the next lecture. Nitrogenous bases, generally you can simply say these are the building blocks for the nucleotides, okay? So, if we talk about the if we talk about the nitrogenous bases which is present in the DNA, then these are of adenine and guanine for purines, thymine and cytosine for pyrimidines. But if you talk about the nitrogenous bases in case of RNA, then here the purines are the same, that is adenine and guanine, whereas the pyrimidines here changes uracil and cytosine. That is, the thymine is replaced by uracil in case of RNA. Clear? So this is the basic difference. Next difference is, as I already said, that this is the basic genetic content in major classes of living organisms, whereas it is found in only certain kinds of plant viruses and retroviruses. Right? So these are the certain kind of differences between DNA and RNA. Now let's move on to the next heading, that is the hierarchy of the nucleic acids. Nucleic acid is basically composed of three major components, that is the nitrogenous base, the phosphoric acid and the sugar. When these three are combined, then it gives rise to the nucleotide, which is the major building block of nucleic acid. When these nucleotides combine with themselves or they forms the polynucleotides, finally these polynucleotides are being converted into the DNA or the RNA depending on the kind of the nitrogenous bases assembled together. Clear? So let's begin with the molecular level, from the molecular level actually. Here we have nitrogenous bases. When these nitrogenous bases combines with the sugar molecule, they forms nucleosides. Nucleosides, okay? It can be represented as NS. When this particular nucleoside combines with the phosphoric acid, that is H3PO4, it forms nucleotide, which is also represented as NT or NTD. Clear? When these nucleotides polymerizes, they forms polynucleotides. These polynucleotides are combined together to give rise to a specific type of nucleic acid, either the DNA or the RNA, which depends on the type of the nitrogenous bases which are assembled together to form the specific kind of nucleotide. Now, let me explain you what are the types of the nitrogenous bases. As the name suggests, nitrogenous bases, that is they are comprised of nitrogen, that is their structure is made up of nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen and oxygen elements. Clear? So these nitrogenous bases are divided into two parts. First part is known as the purines and the second one is known as the pyrimidines. Now what are purines and what are pyrimidines? Simply these are the nitrogenous bases, but if you are if you want to be very specific, then purines are the double cyclic structure which is of not same type of cycles, right? What I mean to say is purines are made up of two structures in which one cyclic ring is made up of 6 membered ring and the other membered ring is the 5 number. So 6 and 5 membered rings, that is 2 rings or 2 cyclic rings are present in the structure of the purines. And if you talk about the pyrimidines, then it consists of only a heterocyclic structure of 6 membered ring only. The ring which is of 5 members is known as the imidazole ring and the ordinary 6 membered ring is known as the pyrimidine ring. Clear? So these are the purines and the pyrimidines. Now the purines assigned in this category are adenine, represented by the symbol A, and the next one is guanine, represented by the symbol G. if you talk about pyrimidines, then these pyrimidines includes 3 different types of nitrogenous bases. First is thymine, represented by the symbol T, uracil, represented by the symbol U, and the last one is cytosine, represented by the symbol C. So basically, the nitrogenous bases, which is divided into 2 classes, purines and pyrimidines, includes adenine and guanine as purines and thymine, cytosine and uracil as the pyrimidines. Clear? So here I have mentioned about the nitrogenous bases. Now moving on to the nucleoside first. That is, if I take adenine and combine it with the ribose sugar, which is a pentose sugar, then it will give rise to a nucleoside, and the adenine will be now known as adenosine. So adenosine is only a nucleoside, it is not a nucleotide. But if I want adenosine to be converted into the nucleotide, what I have to do, I have to add the phosphoric acid, that is the H3PO4 group, and it will give rise to the nucleotide which will be known as the adenosine triphosphate. Triphosphate, why tri? If I add 3 molecules of the phosphoric acid, that is it will be known as ATP. If I add only one phosphate group, then it will be known as AMP, adenosine monophosphate. 2 phosphoric groups, then it will be known as the ADP, that is the adenosine diphosphate. Okay. Similarly, we can form guanosine, which is again the nucleoside, and guanosine triphosphate, GTP, that is the nucleotide. Okay. Uridine, cytidine and thymidine. So in this manner, we can form different types of nucleosides and nucleotides depending that what we are adding. If we are adding only the sugar molecule, then the base will combine with the sugar molecule with the help of the bond, and this bond is known as the glycosidic bond. Right? So here I end my topic. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the structure and the functions of the nitrogenous bases. Thank you.